Hello everyone, welcome to Yuletide Treasures, where we uncover the rich history behind the traditions, songs, and stories that make Christmas so magical. And today, we're diving deep into the legend of Good King Wenceslas, one of the most beloved figures connected to Christmas. Who is this man? Why does his story show up in A Christmas Carol? And what does his legacy mean for the holiday season? Let's uncover the fascinating history behind the carol and the real-life man who inspired it. So, who was the historical Wenceslas? Well, for one, he wasn't actually a king. Wenceslas was the Duke of Bohemia, a region that's part of today's Czech Republic. Born in 907 AD, he ruled from 921 AD until his tragic death, which occurred in 935 AD. But why do we call him a king, you ask? Well, his title was upgraded to king after his death by Holy Roman Emperor Otto I, who wanted to honor Wenceslas for his piety and influence in spreading Christianity. Wenceslas was known for being a devout Christian leader who sought peace and unity in a time of turmoil in Bohemia. He worked hard to spread the Christian faith in a region that was still largely pagan, and he was famous for his charitable works, particularly toward the poor. In a time when many rulers governed with brutality, Wenceslas stood out as a compassionate leader. However, his rule wasn't without conflict. His own brother Boleslaus the Cruel conspired against him and tragically assassinated him in 935. Despite his short reign, Wenceslas became revered as a martyr and saint in the Catholic Church. Now, how did this medieval Duke of Bohemia become the star of A Christmas Carol? The carol Good King Wenceslas was written much later in 1853 by John Mason Neale, an Anglican priest and hymn writer. The song tells the story of King Wenceslas on the feast of St. Stephen, December 26th, also known as Boxing Day, where people traditionally give to the poor. In the carol, the king ventures out into the snow with his page to deliver food, wine, and logs to a poor peasant's house. Despite the harsh winter weather, Wenceslas leads by example, showing the spirit of charity and generosity. One of the key moments in the song is when the page struggles in the snow, and Wenceslas tells him to follow in his footsteps, literally walking where the king has already trodden. This symbolizes leadership and the idea that even in difficult times, we can be guided by the light of kindness and compassion. Let's take a listen to a verse from the famous carol. Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. It's a beautiful reminder of what Christmas is really about, helping those less fortunate and spreading warmth and love to those in need. So, how does Wenceslas relate to Christmas? Historically, Wenceslas wasn't directly connected to the birth of Christ, but his actions and values align with the spirit of the holiday. Christmas is a time of giving, of charity, and of looking out for others, especially the less fortunate. Wenceslas embodied these ideals through his life and rule, which is why he became an enduring figure in Christian tradition. The carol itself, often sung during the Christmas season, helps to reinforce these themes. The Feast of St. Stephen, which falls just after Christmas, also ties in with the concept of sharing wealth and blessings, which Wenceslas practiced. By including him in our carols, we remind ourselves that Christmas is more than just celebrations It's about compassion and humanity. After his death, Wenceslas was canonized as a saint, and he remains the patron saint of the Czech Republic. His story has been passed down for generations, not only through the carol, but also through various historical texts and legends. He represents the idea that true leadership is about serving others, not ruling over them. His feast day is celebrated on September 28th, known as Wenceslas Day in the Czech Republic. And while he may not be a traditional Christmas figure, like Santa Claus or the wise men, his message is timeless and it fits perfectly with the holiday season. To wrap things up, Good King Wenceslas reminds us that the heart of Christmas isn't about what we receive, but what we give. Whether it's lending a hand to someone in need, donating to a good cause, or simply spreading kindness, the legacy of Wenceslas lives on when we act in the spirit of charity. I hope this story of Wenceslas inspires you this holiday season to step into the shoes of those in need, just as the king did in the carol. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Yuletide Treasures. If you enjoyed this dive into the history of one of our most beloved Christmas carols, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'll see you next time as we uncover more treasures from the heart of Christmas.